I've had a lot of coffee today. Get ready for very, what's it called? Get ready for very hyper rocks. Hi guys, today I'm gonna show you how I conceal these under eyes. So this is my 3-step guide, super quick and easy and perfect for anyone from beginners to pros. And I honestly I feel perfected this technique. I have done this video in the past, but this is like an updated version. I've kind of taken, you know, techniques that I've learned over the years and just products that I love for this area to really help. My dark circles have gotten so much better. Actually, like my actual dark circles under my eyes on my skin, when I was growing up, they were much darker. As I've gotten older, I think just like taking care of them, doing facial massages, stuff like that, they have gone away a lot. But because I innately had a lot of like darkness under the eyes, I feel like I know how to do this, okay? And I gotta teach you guys the tricks, the tips and tricks, because there's nothing like a brightened under eye area. Like it really pulls together the face, pulls together the makeup, pulls together the look. So yeah. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, like this video, and let's get to concealing. Okay, so step 1, color correction. Color correction is a very vital step, and you can see I've started off with no foundation so that I can really show you guys the correct way to do it. I used to do it over top of my foundation. I've found that it's so much better to do underneath your foundation because it really corrects at the base of the look. So for my skin tone, and every skin tone is gonna be a little bit different, and the severity of the darkness that you're trying to correct, you're gonna have to try to find a shade that works for you. But if you're around my skin tone, what I love to use is Live Tinted right here at the inner corner. So I place that right there. And this is the shade Rise. And you can see that I pinpointed it right at the innermost part where I have the most darkness. This does come in different shades, so depending on your skin tone, I like this texture a lot because it's it's not too thick, but it's not too thin. It's like a nice little Goldilocks texture, but you wanna insert that like right at the innermost part where the darkest part of your darkness is. And then, this is an OG for me, you guys know this one. This is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. So I'll go with this along the edges. You know how it starts to fade a little bit? So I wanna brighten up that fade and really work this into the skin. And my skin technique in general has changed a lot over the years. Nowadays, I'm much more into like natural makeup. Also, sorry if my face is a little swollen. I just got my wisdom teeth out a couple days ago. And not as swollen as I thought it was gonna be, but I can still feel it on myself a little bit. But anyways, yeah, my skin technique has changed a lot because I feel like the biggest thing that I look for now is trying to make it look as natural as possible, but still as flawless as possible. So a lot of it is layering the right products with each other. So I used to go in with like globs of this Becca product. Now I do more of a thin layer and really try to work it in with my finger to like warm up the product, melt it into the skin. And once I'm almost done blending, I go in and run it over the innermost part as well. And I love, 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 love the color of this because it just gets like that super dark area color corrected perfectly. And you can see already like a huge difference in just the brightness. So that is step number 1, color correction. And then I just go directly in with my foundation. I'm not including this in the steps because I don't feel like this is really a step of color correcting. It's just more so, you know, a step of your base. This foundation is incredible. It's the Shiseido Synchro Radiant Lifting Foundation. Oh my God, it's amazing, you guys. Like, I just love the finish of it. Really lightweight on the skin. Let me know if you guys want to see like an updated skin routine because like I said, my techniques have changed a lot actually over the years. I use a lot less product, but I feel like my skin looks so much better this way, especially in person, because like a lot of makeup looks better on camera, I would say, but when you're doing like this very flawless kind of vibe, it almost I don't know, it pays in person, especially. I know not many of us are seeing it in person, but like I see myself in person and I applaud myself when I do good face makeup because you can really tell like when when you look in the mirror and stuff like that. I just want to mention one more thing about the color correcting step. As far as like the color correcting shade goes, not the brightening shade, but the color correcting, the darker your under eye is, the darker the shade of the color corrector should be, because you want to really counteract those purple tones, the darkness under the eyes, with a red or a peach, depending on your skin tone, depending on the darkness. If you guys want to DM me, like I will try to be as on top of my DMs as possible on Instagram. If you want advice, maybe like you can send me a picture of your skin tone or your under eye area or whatever, and I can try to like match you guys to shades, because I do that for my friends all the time, and like I'm obviously here to help as much as possible. So I know shade matching is kind of, difficult. So I got you guys. Step 2 is concealer, which might be the most obvious step, but with the technique that I'm gonna show you, you want 2 different concealers. One that's gonna be a medium to full coverage concealer for actually, covering the area. Then you want a highlighting concealer that's ideally gonna have a peachy pink undertone to it so that you can cancel out that discoloration and really pinpoint the brightness at the exact spots that you want it. So we're really using the concealer for 2 different purposes: to conceal and even out the skin texture, but also to like actually brighten up that area. So the ones that I'm gonna use, MAC Studio Fix 24 Hour. This is the shade NC35. So this is my like medium to full coverage concealer. Then I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealer in 32.5. You can see this one has that really nice peachy pink undertone that I was talking about that's just gonna brighten her up. Okay, so first we're gonna go in with MAC. I use a lot less concealer these days as well. I don't typically bring it like down in that triangle shape. That was kind of like the iconic shape for a long time. I keep it close to the nose. You wanna let the concealer sit for a couple minutes on the skin, because as it gets a little more dry, you'll keep a lot more of the coverage rather than if you blend it out right away. So usually while I let my concealer sit, I'll just like go in and do a little bit of cream contouring. Have you guys had your wisdom teeth out? Because honestly, it was not what I was expecting at all. I thought it was gonna be so much worse because of like videos I've seen, and I didn't even say anything funny afterwards. Like I thought, like, you get put down and you think you're gonna say something funny, and Joe was the one that took me, and he said that the only thing that I said was, I love you, and do we have everything? Like that was all I said. So it was definitely not what I like had seen in videos, and I was so shocked because I was expecting to be all, loopy and crazy, but I don't know if it was just me or what. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this concealer out. Then I'm gonna take that Makeup Forever Ultra HD, and I typically like to pat this in with a brush because I feel like I can just get a little bit more precise. And I'm gonna place this right towards the innermost part of the eye, again, where my darkness was the darkest. You don't need much. You just need to place it in the correct area. And you can see already that tone is just canceling out any darkness that was left over. It's like pretty much gone now without looking cakey or fake. I always get a shadow right here, so I like to do this brightening shade right there as well. And a little bit right here. And I really press this shading because I just want everything to be nice and blended together with all the layers that we have. And you'll see, like, with my technique of covering my darkness and brightening up the under eye area, a lot of it is just matching the correct shades and formulas to make sure that everything blends, everything's lightweight, everything is working together to cancel the darkness and brighten up. If I had to put a number to like the amount of pressure that I'm actually pouncing into my skin right now, I'd probably say it's like a 7 out of 10. You want to use pretty good pressure here. Step 3 is powder. And again, you want to use products that like are actually going to work well together. So I actually learned this technique from Makeup by Ariel. I've been able to watch him do a couple master classes that he's done with Makeup Forever over the last couple years, and his technique is insane. And you know, his clients like Kylie always have that really, really brightened like center effect. This powder technique is like what he uses to get that. And basically what you're gonna need is a mattifying pressed powder and then also a loose translucent setting powder. So I'm gonna take Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Blurring Powder Foundation in the shade R230. And again, this has that pink peachy undertone. That's what's giving us that like just doll effect. So I take that with my damp blender and I'm just gonna press that right into the center. You can see immediately we just get the brightness, we get the flat, like this helps to cancel out any divots any divots that you have under the eyes as well. Like if you saw, I wish I had shown you guys or pointed it out beforehand, but you'll see on this side, I have a bigger divot on my right side of my face, and this powder completely airbrushes it out. So you wanna take this, press it right into the center of the face. I would almost consider it, or the way that I think about it is like priming the under eyes for the baking powder that we're gonna use, because I do bake when I want that super, super brightened effect. And when you bake, sometimes that like little powder particles of the loose powder can get stuck in the wrong places. So we're basically like priming our eyes for the bake, but brightening at the same time. It's incredible. It's like one of the most, like, it's so good. This technique is really something. And again, probably like a 7 out of 10 on pressure. And this powder is amazing to use for this step because it does have that like velvety matte finish. So it works to smooth everything out while also brightening. Also take this again between the brows. Okay, so now we go in and bake. Too Faced Peach Perfect. I like this one a lot because there's absolutely no shimmer. It's super matte. And again, underneath the eyes, I always feel like matte works better to like smooth and brighten. So I like this one. Also, this does have that like slight peachy undertone. It also smells like peaches and it smells so good. But I like this one, or I have been using this yellow powder as well. This is from Dragon Beauty. So it just kind of depends on my mood if I want to go with pink or if I want to go with yellow. It depends on the look I'm doing and like the overall vibe. But I will say for brightening specifically, probably a slightly pinker undertone is better for the loose powder. Okay, so for this step, I don't take much, and once I pick up the powder on my blender, I actually tap it off on the back of my hand or my wrist or whatever, because it helps to just make a little bit of a smoother application, because we really don't need that much because we already have like 6 layers of product underneath. I love how I was like, I love natural skin, and then I'm like 6 layers to conceal under eyes, but this really is like the best under eye technique that I've found and that I've been loving, and voila. I love this technique. I hope you guys do too. It's honestly, I don't know, I know it's a lot of products, but it really does make a difference. I mean, you see the brightness, it covers everything, and it still looks like skin, which is what I love. So I'll link all the products down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.